my head is spinning with all of the stuff that we have coming up.
Let's talk about VIP packages, because I know like all the artists offer something different.
Yeah.
So let's tell them how that comes about and who decides who gets what, and if there's meet and greets, if they're going to sign something, if they're not. Let's talk about how that works.
Yeah. So I'm working on Hardy's right now. He has some really cool, I need to get on a call with his like VIP rep. They all have different packages. So Hardy coming up has a package. Gavin has some VIP packages coming up. Co has some really cool VIP packages. And they all offer something a little bit different. Some of them are meet and greet. Some of them are you just get merch gifts. Some of them you just get early access, which is still cool. I mean, especially in a GA-only venue like we are, where it's all, standing GA, or you can bring your own chair. It gives you the opportunity to get in a little bit earlier.
Right, but
closer,
we do not, as a venue, pick
what
happens.
We don't pick that. So that's always after we book the show. It's always after we book the show that they
Yeah, we don't have any idea. We can even go on sale, and we still don't have any. And they're coming back, we're going to do some VIPs.
Yeah,
well, okay.
Sometimes it's like right before we go on sale too, like a day or two before. By the way, can you add these VIP packages? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And so it's whatever the artist has agreed to, or their management has agreed to with. Sometimes they do them in-house, but that's really rare. Red Clay did theirs in-house, which was one of the few that I've dealt with. A lot of times it's like VIP Nation or 237.
They hire a company that comes in and handles just their VIP stuff.
And so I advance all of that completely separately. Mm-hmm. So they send us over the packages. Sometimes we have to edit them. So they want to know, just because the type of venue we are, we don't have reserved seats in that way. And sometimes those packages, like if you go to an arena and you see those seats that have like a star on them or something, they're held like a certain way. Those are seats that have been allocated to those VIP programs. We don't have that kind of seat selection here. So we don't have that. It's just like you pick that package and you get early entry. And sometimes we change it up a little bit. Like
I think that's almost any venue though, because every venue is set up differently.
Yes, you've got to.
And so they have to. Yes, they have to tweak it to every venue for venue specific. Mm-hmm. Then
what's gonna work for us. Also, some of their stuff includes alcohol sometimes, and we have to edit that because Texas,
we don't do
the
that.
TABC laws in Texas are, any liquor rep will tell you that they're stricter than like anywhere else in the country. We have really strict laws, so we have to go in and kind of tweak those a little bit, because some of the things that they've agreed to do in other states we can't do here at all. So we've got to go tweak some of that sometimes. But yeah, so they send us over a couple of packages. Sometimes we do them all, sometimes just one or two. And then we've got to build those out. And then on our ticket, you'll see them. And if you just click on that ticket, it'll give you a full description of what all is included in them.
That's the main thing. Click on them. You call us, and whoever answers the phone, they have no idea what's included in that ticket. But I mean, it specifically lays it out exactly what you get in that VIP ticket. And sometimes, like she says, there's, one or two different VIP options, and they offer you different things.
And they vary by the show too. So Hardy has some cool meet and greet opportunities, but Gavin, I don't think he doesn't have a meet and greet, I don't think, but he has they're doing a stage tour. So they're going to take 10 people to tour the stage, which is really cool. That's the first time that I've set that up. And then Co brings this really cool lounge that we set up in the bus barn. He has a meet and greet too, but they bring a really cool
different.
lounge.
I mean, I don't know that's, what it is, but
yeah, they're, they are doing the lounge this year, but they always kind of add more to it. It's always they make it like tour specific. So whatever his theme for the tour is that year, they change it up a little bit. So I think so that's part of his this year. And we don't ever. People always ask us why we don't do the same thing every time, why we don't do the same types of tickets, why certain shows don't have meet and greets, or why certain shows don't even have seating. Some shows will have the rows of chairs, and some won't, and some will have the tables and some won't. And that's really not something that we have final say on.
We don't. We
Yeah.
can suggest and give them options and that kind of thing, but at the end of the day, that's their decisions on what they offer, what they want to, sign up for or not. And I know some people are just like, I cannot believe, it's not our thing.
Yeah, it's not us. I know some people get a little upset when we don't have the tables, but
I
that's
know,
that's not us.
And honestly, if you remember going back 10 years ago when you went to a concert, no one sat down.
No one, yeah, you didn't.
COVID
sit.
ruined us
Yeah.
because everybody wants to sit down now. And, we put a zone up, like no chairs past this point because it never fails before we did that. Somebody would go and take their chair and go right up to the barricade up there and sit down. Well, here comes somebody that sneaks in there and they've got a butt in their face.
Yeah.
And they're screaming at
They're
us
mad,
that,
they're
oh
fighting.
my gosh, his butt's in my face. I was here first.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's nothing to it. And I know I want to sit down. If I was going to go and I had to stay, I don't want to stand that long. I understand.
Yeah.
But then that's why you're back
wanna
so
bring a
far,
chair.
so you don't get a butt in your face and you're not all pissed off.
Yeah. Well, and the artists like that.
I think it would be
like it a
hard.
little
And
bit.
I guess it depends on your kind of music.
Yeah.
It would be hard to play to an entire sit down crowd.
Oh, I know.
Because I think they feed off the energy
Right.
of those people along that barricade.
For
Jumping
sure.
up and screaming and jumping to the rhythm and so I don't blame them.
No, yeah, it's definitely it makes for a little bit more fun than a
Yeah.
whole bunch of people. I mean, I always tell people, I'm like, think about if you were up there and everybody was just looking up at you in their lawn chair and didn't seem like they were having a good time, and
Yeah.
So let's whoever wants to stand for the end, because some of them get here early. We've got a couple that that get here really early that I recognize. If the early entry is available, they buy it every time.
Yes.
And there's one girl that I always remembered. She came early for Pecos and was standing out there in the snow. And I was
remember
like, I said, girlfriend, come in here and sit in the restaurant. And I said, I promise, I'll walk you to the front. I was like, but you cannot sit out here. It's freaking snowing. I'll walk you up there.
Yeah.
I was like, but we can't do that. But there's a couple of them that always get here early and get right on that front rail, and they do not move. They are standing there
And
the whole
I
time.
think we are fortunate that our stage is so wide that we can still do those
Yeah.
tables off to the side, and they still have plenty of room to get that energy from the people that are in the GA
the
that are
tables
standing.
are a party too, though. I think they're
are.
up there. There's sometimes I have to go in the table area and tell them to simmer down a little bit.
Well,
Like,
and usually tables sell out first because people want to be able to go sit down, and I think a lot of families do that too. They want to take their teen kids, but they don't want them over there in that mess and standing and
right,
and
yeah.
it's easier to keep
especially
on,
for the more rowdy
yeah.
shows.
Well,
too.
and it's easier to keep up with them if you can put them at a table
Yeah.
and know that that's where they
Have a
are,
meeting-
and
a
know what they're
meeting
doing
point.
instead of over there where you can't see them and all those people.
yeah.
So and I'm glad that, a lot of artists still understand that and they they don't mind us doing the tables. Now we have a few that absolutely not. It's going to be GA all the way across and we're not doing any tables.
Gavin's GA all the
Is
way.
he?
Yeah,
No
he's
tables?
GA all the way.
Okay.
no
I think
tables,
Hardy has
yeah.
tables. Co had tables. I'm not sure if Hardy's sold out of tables. There might be one
There's
or
a-
two.
There's a couple.
But I think
I think
Co's
they
are
will sell it.
gone.
Co's are gone. Yeah, Co's tables
Yeah.
are gone. Yeah, Gavin. We don't do very many of them. A lot of times they.
Yeah, and we have a limit, and sometimes they don't even want to do that many. They tell us. I mean, like I said, we don't get those choices of what they're going to do or how they're going to do it. I will say Hardy's production is going to be awesome.
Oh my gosh.
I forgot how many canisters for fire.
so much.
I still got to get all the fire extinguishers,
yeah, for
so I still got to
pyro.
get that.
Yeah, he's gonna
I
have
haven't done
crazy
it.
pyro and
He has a thrust that'll come out,
thrust.
so
He's got
it's
some-
going to be an awesome. And he's so lively; it's going to be really cool.
My
And of course,
husband's really-
I think Gavin and Co will be just as cool, And then of course we still have the other guys too. That I'm just thinking of these guys because they are the ones that have the VIP.
Yes, yeah, the VIP and all
options.
those programs and stuff. But Dylan Gossett and Charles Wesley Godwin are coming the week after Hardy too.
Oh,
and
yeah. That'll be a good show.
I just got emails to start advancing that show. That one will be a really good one. Dylan opened for George Strait when he was here.
Yeah, we didn't go that night.
Oh yeah, we went the other night. We went the second night. He opened
Yeah.
for him with it was Dylan, Zach Top, and George Strait.
Yeah, I didn't
I-
see him, so
I heard it
will
was
be cool.
really, really good.
Yeah,
though.
so that
He's
show
very
ought to
good.
be a good one too. And
Yeah.
I know with Tech coming back, I had a lady. We went to lunch a while ago, and we pulled up, and there's a car out here, and I was like, okay, what's going on? And right in the door, and I was like, So I went up, and she's like, oh, I think I need a gift card, and I was like, well, you know what for? We're really close today, but I could probably help you. And she says, well, my granddaughter, I think, is moving in and she wants she's already talking about the concerts. She comes from Abilene, I think is what she said. Said they drive all the time, but said she's actually going to live here. And I said, well, if she wants to do the concerts, I said, just go online and buy her the actual concert ticket.
Yeah.
And then that way she'll have them. So I think she was wanting to see maybe Hardy and Gavin and a couple of more. So I know with them coming back, people are starting to think about, what concerts are coming.
And they email you if you're ever wanting to do a gift, like your ticket as a gift. They email you a PDF version of the ticket, so you can print it.
Yeah,
and
you
give
can
it
print
as
it
a
out and
gift.
put it in a card or
Put
whatever,
it in a
so.
card. Yeah, it's not just you don't have to just do it through the app.
Right.
But you can. Some of them you can transfer the ticket. Just make sure which ticket it is if you're doing that. But yeah, a lot of times you can just print it and give it to them.
Yeah, well, that's what she was wanting to give the
For
granddaughter.
gifts,
Some
yeah.
tickets.
I think a lot. I get that question a lot, actually, if people email or call and stuff,
Right.
asking if our restaurant gift cards are good for concert tickets.
And they are not.
And they're not, yeah. It's ran through, like, completely different POS
Different
systems. The
systems.
ticketing system is ran through the ticketing company. So it's completely different. It's not any good for that. You have
Yeah.
to get them through Tixer, so.
With that being said, y'all make sure you're going to cooksgarage.com.
Yeah.
If you just go in your browser and you type in Cooks Garage, you're going to get probably 4 or 5 sites before you ever get to our actual website. So, you're on Tickets for Sale, Tickets Go Go. I mean, there's there's 100 different resale companies out there. And you're paying, it kills me. We'll announce a show and we won't even be on sale, and I'll have somebody call me and say, I already bought my tickets. And I'm like,
Dude,
no, you didn't.
Cody Johnson
Yes,
was
I
the
did.
worst. They were buying those tickets. I'll never forget that. Somebody was like, oh, I just bought my Cody Johnson ticket for like $500 and something, a regular GA
no,
ticket.
you didn't.
And I was like, no, it's not even on sale yet. Like, I felt so.
Well, and they
I
think
think that
we're
was when
dumb.
scalping just like really started getting really, really bad. Was probably
Yeah,
it
but-
really started getting bad during COVID, honestly. But yeah,
But I hate when they want to argue with us.
they're like,
And,
no,
like,
I
we're
went to
dumb.
your, and I'm like, no, I
No,
promise
we
you didn't.
we put it on sale.
Yeah.
So your ticket is not valid. Even if you actually got it in your hot hand, it's
Yeah.
not valid.
That's also probably a little bit of, I mean, how many venues do you call that you actually, the first person that picks up the phone is the person that actually set up the ticket
Yeah.
link? Probably not very
I don't
many.
know. So
it
y'all-
is me. I am setting up the ticket link. So if I tell you something about it, I promise I'm telling you the truth because I made it. So
Or they
promise.
get here and then they're mad because their friend bought a ticket for $40 and they paid $400.
400, I know. Yeah.
I
And
mean-
then some of them say the price on this one is what gets me is so they'll send them the PDF. So the PDFs of the tickets have
The
the
actual.
sale price on there, the actual price on there. And so they'll get here and somebody will rip it into me. Well, all your fees, it was like, it says on this ticket right here that the ticket was only $50. And after all your fees, it was $700 or something astronomical. And I'm like, yeah, so that wasn't us. Like,
Or it's not
our
in my
fees are
name.
very yeah. Oh,
This
it's
is
not
not
in
my
my name.
name.
And I'm like, yeah, because you
bought
bought
a
it
resale
Yeah, they can't transfer it into your name after you've purchased it that way. And the only way that we can guarantee you entry for sure is if it's in your name. Like, that's the
So-
only way I can guarantee you. I saw a lady on TikTok who had a similar problem to this. She went, it was either her or somebody else. She was a little confusing on the details, but she went to go see Luke Combs in Vegas, and the ticket, they both bought a resale ticket. I think what happened was they both bought a resale ticket and it wasn't in either one of their names. And so they kicked them both out because this girl, they had assigned seating.
Right.
And she was like, well, I bought this ticket, you know what but it wasn't in her name. Then the other girl was like, no, I bought this ticket. And they could both show they were supposed to be in seat 7A or
Right.
whatever. and they were like, well, can we see your IDs? And the name on the ticket didn't match either of their.
Right. And sometimes when you buy those tickets, they are legit, but sometimes they're not.
They're not.
They have completely made them. They have a barcode or something, and it's not even what we scan.
It's not even the right graphic. Like, it's not
No,
even anything close. Another one that really, the one that gets me, and I think is the most confusing and the most difficult for people to understand, is people call, hey, can you verify my ticket? I really can't verify your ticket. And the reason being, someone could come to our website and buy one single ticket, and then they go resell that one ticket to 10 different resale companies. And it is a complete crapshoot on whoever. So the barcode is unique. So the QR code is unique. It will only hit one time. So we'll scan your ticket, and it'll say, "Oh, you were already checked in 47 minutes ago." Because
that happened with
our ticketing
Co.
specific. Our system is specific, so it'll say that. Yeah,
I want to say
it
during
did
COVID somewhere in there, we had to push it back. I think we had to reschedule him or something, and so over the summer, all the adults basically bought the ticket. So when Tech came back, it was already sold out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so then they started buying all these resale. I think Buster Brown. This is
Buster
the guy.
Brown.
He sold probably 300 tickets of the exact same ticket.
Yeah.
And you just can't buy resale. I mean, and it sucks, but
because it was hitting. It was whenever we we scanned
you could
the
just
ticket,
take them, and it was the exact same.
It would pop, right? It would come up. So the first one came up, ding, like let somebody in, and then it comes up.
Well, they even had their paper. You know?
They're
and
like,
all
we
the
have
papers
it, we
were the
printed
same.
it, like, and then they would scan it, and it would be like, and it comes up red, and it'll tell you, oh, checked in, however many minutes ago, and you're like, oh, and that's when you start realizing, like, oh. They sold one.
Yeah.
They
so
sold
if we
one
tell
ticket.
you tickets go on sale on a Friday or whatever the date is, that's when they're
pay
on
attention
sale.
to
Just
that.
because you find them online, that they're not legit.
And scroll down a little ways. Make sure you go
Go
to
to our
the actual
website,
cooksgarage.com. It's
I know they
very
argue. Oh my
Cooks
gosh.
branded too. Like our website's very Cooks branded.
Yeah.
It's the
I promise I was on your site. Blah,
No.
blah, 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 blah. And I said,
No.
well, look at your
They're
ticket
like, we
again.
looked you up.
And then they'll go, oh, well, it says resale at the top. I said, exactly.
I hate that for
you
you.
were not on our website. Just because you typed it in and that's the first one that popped
I
up,
know.
that is not us. So
Makes me
y'all
so
just
mad.
be mindful of that. It's,
I know the scalping drives me absolutely
Yeah.
up a wall. I wish there was some way to, I don't know, one of these days it's going to come to me in the night how we all just stop the scalping from happening. But I don't know. If Kid Rock can't figure it out, none of us can. I don't know.
I don't know. It's just it's a crappy thing,
Mm-hmm.
And I feel bad for the people that buy them, but
They are doing legislation, though. They're trying to pass some legislation to help some of this, I
Yeah.
know. So just like, what I always tell people, because they're like, well, that's really crappy. Like, what can I do to make, other than doing your own personal due diligence to where you make sure that you're buying from the actual venue? If they're not making any money, they'll stop doing it. That'll like hurt somebody's pocketbook, always helps. But pay really attention when you guys go vote. There's things on your ballot about it
Right.
that are
And
that
this
are
is
trying
not
to get
only our
legislation.
venue. I think
everybody has it.
This.
When we go to
So,
AIBA, they talk about it.
anytime you want to go to a concert, no matter where you are, you either go to the actual artist site and go that way, or you go to the actual venue site and go that way. And if they're not available, if they're sold out, they're sold
They're
out.
sold out.
Even if you go buy one for thousands of dollars, it's probably not legit.
It might not be.
So just
so
get
you
your
might
tickets
spend all that
early
money
and know if you really want to go and buy a legit ticket.
Yeah.
Because if other than that, you're going to get messed up.
And maybe if it's somewhere close to you, check back. Sometimes they release more tickets.
Yeah, they do. And we've done that a time
We've
or
done that
two.
a time or two. Check back. Sometimes they release more tickets. Sometimes there were venues that have holds, like those individual seats. Sometimes they have them held for something. And then when it gets a little bit closer,
They
they'll
know they
tell you
don't
to
need
throw
'em.
them back. They don't need them. And so if it's a venue that's close to you that you're maybe keep is only like an hour or two away. That's not going to be
Yeah.
anything crazy. Maybe keep a close eye on their stuff, and they can maybe you'll get one last minute. They released some last minute for George. I know.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, we've done it before. We've just figured out where we could sell
Ever
some
Blue
more
Moon, you'll
tickets.
have an artist that wants to hold some back just
Yeah.
to release at a cheaper price closer. But I wouldn't count on that. So if you want them, you better get them because
Zach
sometimes
Top
once
did
they're
that to
sold,
us.
but once they're sold, they're sold.
Yeah.
Or you might, they might release 20 or 50 or 100, and then you're still not
Yeah.
going to get one. So
We did that
if you want to
for-
go, get your tickets.
Zach Top, didn't we? We did like 100 blue collar tickets, and
I
they
think
had
so.
to come to Cooks that day and get them.
Yes, they did. I
and,
forgot about that.
I think we put Jasmine out there to
Yeah, I
sell
forgot
'em.
about that.
But they had to come here and get them.
But you can't depend
But
on
you can't
that.
count on that. That was just
No.
like a rare. But if the show's close to you and you know that it's sold out, maybe just kind of keep a close eye a couple days leading up. But please don't buy a scalps
No,
ticket because
9 times out of 10, they're not good.
yeah, they're not good. And I hate that for everybody. It's not good for the art. It's not good for the artist. It's not good for
Us, it's not
it's
good
not
for
good
anybody.
for anybody. So
It sucks.
yeah.
And then we're having, this is a totally different subject, but we're having lunch the other day, and one of the waitresses or the servers comes up and she's like, my table's wanting to know about the lettuce.
Oh yeah.
And Madison just looked at me like, huh?
I was like, the
And
lettuce.
we looked down and she had like a chicken salad or something. And I think I just had like a side
We were
salad.
both eating the lettuce. We're like, what
I know,
about
and
the
I'm
lettuce?
like, well, I knew. I had been watching the news, and I was like, it's fine. And she's like, are you sure? And I said, yes, I'm sure. And Madison's like, what's going on?
We all know that I'm a dingbat and stuff goes right over my
Well, I
freaking
don't know
head.
that you ever pay attention to news, or I don't know if you listen.
don't-
I don't know.
I
I think,
think
it just goes whatever.
Yeah, I've got
But
too much.
I guess they've had some outbreaks with the lettuce, and so they tried to blame it on a chain taco place or something, and then they said, well, no, we don't know that. Then they named a couple of more, and it's just been like a huge thing. Well, now they're talking
Oh,
about
yeah.
the jalapenos. They're doing the same thing.
Mhm.
When we first started and we knew absolutely nothing about how to buy, where to buy, what's going on, I had asked a friend or two about, hey, like food broker, like who do you go through? What do you do? And, they kind of explained it to me. They named the companies and, they kind of put them like in a car price thing. Well, this is kind of like your lower car. This is like your mid-range. This is like your top range,
Yeah.
like I forgot the
This is the
brands they get.
Mercedes
Yeah, I
of
forgot
lettuce,
the brands they
okay?
gave me. Anyway, so they had kind of placed Benny Keith at the top. So, we had called and made an appointment and, wanted to go and talk to them. Of course, we went to Amarillo where they're out of and one of their warehouses and things, and we talked to them and did a big visit and all, and I'm kind of a brand snob, I guess, and
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty loyal.
You've told me about this.
And it's what I told them in the beginning. I don't plan on, hopping everywhere. And what you have to understand is there's so many different food companies out there. And I understand, and I know a lot of people do so much with this one and so much with this one and so much with this one. And I get it. But I have been loyal almost 10 years to Benny Keith.
Yeah.
I do not have another account anywhere in town. I think 5 times I can count that I had to rent a potato specialty when it was here, like maybe to grab a box of lemons.
Yeah, because
You
we
know,
were
or
out
something.
of a couple. Oh,
But
they're not
other
here
than-
anymore, are they? I forgot about
No.
that. Oh, what a
But
shame.
other than that, I have never used, and bless this one company, they came in every week probably for 7 years. And I would just have to tell the guy, no, I'm good,
Yeah.
And I sat down with Benny Keith and I told him, as long as you can get me what I need and you're not just jacking me every 5 minutes because I only buy from you.
Yeah.
And you're honest with me, then, and you take care of me, I'm going to be loyal. So I was. So, and they help you. I mean, they have a kitchen there. They, help you, do your menu.
They're super nice. So I've had to do, I think when you were out of town, they came in and I went over the cost analysis kind of stuff
Yes,
with them.
so
and
they'll
they
do
bring
that
you,
every so
they're so
often.
transparent. They bring you the report about what's gone up and what's gone down. And if they think that you should substitute it for something that's a little bit more affordable, or if they don't think the quality's there, they're very upfront. And they come in here and eat probably once or twice a month. They bring
Right.
up 10 people in here.
So we
They're
opened,
they're really
I
nice.
guess in 2017. So 2019, they came to me and they said, hey, would you like to go and see where a lot of the produce and stuff come from? And I was like, well, yeah, we farm, but, we farm cotton, hay, it's not like we do any kind of vegetables or anything. So anyway, we actually went with Benny Keith and they took us to Monterey, California. And of course, Kent was all about it, just to see, and he probably knew. We went with another couple, and then one of our reps that was overproduced and stuff like that at Benny Keith's at the time.
He's a farmer, but Kent's my bougie eater too.
Yeah,
Me
so
and
we
Kent get
went. They
along
flew
with
us
that.
to Monterey, California. Super nice, awesome trip. But we actually got to go into the fields and see like how they pick things and how it's packaged and all the things. So what we did was we went over to Salinas and we got to go through the fields, and it was amazing. Do you know they everything is labeled. They can tell you exactly what field it came out of.
Yeah.
Approximately what time, all the conditions. They can tell you workers. I mean, it is crazy.
Yeah, how
So
precise they can
yes,
get.
that they
It's
can tell
insane.
you
Yeah.
what day that was picked, whose field, how many workers there were, who the workers were, what time was it boxed, what time did it go, transport. I mean, every little thing, the way they can track, and I can go back there right now and pull a box out of my cooler, scan the tag, and send it to them, and they can tell me exactly where it's been, what day, that was picked 2 days ago, that was picked yesterday, that was shipped here, that was shipped there. This many people, this is the guy that led the crew, this is the crew that picked it. It was crazy. Yeah. And when we were there, we actually watched them do like the lettuce and go through the fields, and they have these conveyor things on the trucks. And I mean, it's boxed, packaged, labeled. It was absolutely nuts to think that they can track it like they track it.
I know.
And I know a lot of times other companies come in and, I can get you this, I can do a better price. Okay, you probably can get me a better price, but can you get me a better quality?
Yeah, and just the like quickness. We were how fast they are. We were having a little like quality control issue with some lettuce, and it was just like
this has been a year or two ago.
It was like a while
recently.
ago, and but we were just like, yeah, this was a while ago, and it was just like, I mean, it was a minor thing. It was just like not like wasn't looking like how we're used to it looking, and so we just called our rep and I was like, hey, like, can you come by and like chat? Like, what's going on? I mean, he was here in 10 minutes and was like, what's going on? And I was like, I don't know. Something's just like, and so he called and he was like, oh, like the rain. I think
it was a little more limp than it normally was.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't bad.
There wasn't anything. Yeah. And so he just, it just, that's something we pay attention to. We're like, hey, what, we want to be consistent in the things in the quality of food that we put out. But I was like, so he was by here in like 10-15 minutes and pulled our lettuce, knew exactly where it was coming from, pulled the field, and he goes, oh, he knows the rain that they're getting in that field.
I know.
And he was like, the rain that they're getting in this field is like above average for what they normally get. So that's why it's a little bit different. We can switch. And so he was like, we'll just switch you to a different brand until they kind of, till we get that figured out. And so he just got us some different lettuce, and
well we saw
was fine. Yeah, nothing like wrong with it. It wasn't making like anybody sick or anything. It was like it was a visual thing.
Yeah, but we watched them do lettuce, cauliflower, I think artichokes, the strawberry fields were awesome. I mean, we could eat them right. It was crazy though. I mean, I know we know that food company, we know and how it works, but to know that they can trace it back almost to the minute it came out of that field and which field, it was crazy. Yeah. And Benny Keith has been super good to us. And it's crazy. You just don't think about all the things. So I'm still just Benny Keith. I've never had another account somewhere. Yeah. And I feel like they still, to this day, do me a good job. Even, all this time, all these years, I don't think they've slacked or, if I've needed something, they've just taken care of us.
Yeah, they're quick. If there's something we've forgotten, they're real Johnny on the spot. So if you're coming in worried about our lettuce or our jalapenos, if there was something wrong with it, I guarantee you they would have not just called us, not sent an email, they would have
they would've-
been here. They would have come in.
And I've talked to them, and we're
Yeah.
good. But the thing is, when you have 4 or 5 different brokers and you're chasing that penny difference, it's harder to figure out where your shit came from.
Right. Did this
so
lettuce
you're-
that we ordered last week, is that the lettuce that came from there, or is these
The
jalapenos
Monday truck
or
or
whatever?
was it the Wednesday truck? So I think you're really having to go figure out, oh my gosh, did we get that from that food guy or from this truck or
Right.
so I don't,
Because their
have
pricing
that.
does fluctuate.
It does
Pricing does
fluctuate,
fluctuate
and
on
I
certain
understand
things,
that.
but I mean, but again,
It's quality to me though.
if you run a cost analysis, which if you run it and you sit down, and I used to be a lot better about it. I need to sit down and run them more frequently, but some things will be up and some things will be down. So it all comes out. I feel like it all kind of comes out in the wash
Same
a lot
thing
of times.
on beef. With
Yeah.
this, oh my gosh, beef prices have just gone crazy. I'll put our steak up against almost anybody in town. I think
have a
we
good
have one of the best steaks in town.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are shocked by this. They will
Yeah.
come in and what do we get? I said, well, the ribeye's good, the whatever, and they're like, y'all do steak?
The
Or they'll
ribeye
say,
is
why do you
so
tell me y'all have the
good.
best steak in town? I
Yeah.
said, well, I don't know. They think of us more as a burger place, I guess.
Right, yeah, burgers and like chicken strips, which our chicken
but-
strips are phenomenal and hand breaded, by the way, and it'll spoil you
Yeah.
against any chicken strip place in town.
But
but
going back to
our
the
burgers, our
beef,
steaks are
we
good, yeah.
hand cut our ribeyes, so we know the weight. We do the whole thing, but we buy premium
Yeah.
beef. And everybody's like, well, I could get something cheaper. I could, you could do this.
Right.
You're not making this. Okay, well, fine. I'm not making that. But you know what? Maybe they'll buy a beer. Maybe they'll buy a T-shirt while they're here. I just can't see going to, a lower.
I know.
It's just
switching.
not-
I know they're so good.
No.
Another thing that, just like to brag on our kitchen, on our food quality, our burgers. I think this is something that we don't accept enough credit for. Our burgers are hand pattied and they're 100% beef. They're not they don't.
No, we
put
mix
a
our
bunch
own
of. Somebody
seasoning.
asked. I didn't really think about that. Somebody, I think, with a gluten allergy or something like that, had called asking what kind of filler we put in our beef patties, and I was like, we don't. And she was like, you're sure? Can you go to the kitchen and ask? Because I'm sure she's had this
I've
happen
made burger
where
patties. We don't.
I'm sure she's had this happen where, if she has a gluten allergy, there's been something in her
Right.
patty that caused, that she thought she could eat, and it caused a reaction. But I was like, Jordan is back there pattying them. So
Yes.
I was like, I can see it with my eyes. Nope, I was correct. And I went back. I was like, no, ma'am, 100% beef. And I think that especially with beef prices, how they are right now, is such a big deal that we
It
hand
is,
patty them.
and I just don't think people think about that.
Yeah.
But again, I know exactly what I'm buying, and I know I could get a better price, but I'm not going to get the better quality.
Yeah.
And and I know, and a lot of times, oh, but I can get you a better, no.
We have to eat here all the time, so we don't want to.
We do. Well,
eat
and on Mondays and Tuesdays we're closed, so we go
Yeah,
other
we go
places on
somewhere just
Monday,
'cause we're
Tuesday, and
closed,
sometimes
but-
come Thursday, Friday, we might still go somewhere else. But we eat here
We eat
all
here
the time, and
2-3 days a week at least.
But I'm a brand snob.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know there's things out there that are cheaper, but it's a quality thing to me.
Yeah, sometimes I remember Rusty. We were hosting a barbecue cook-off, and I can't remember whose, but Rusty was judging. I was really shocked that he went in there and judged this.
I know,
but
he's such a picky
he's such a
eater.
picky eater. I was really shocked he did this.
He
But
did.
they were doing steaks one day, and ribeyes. I think they were doing ribeyes. He didn't like a single person's ribeye that did it, and he walks back here in the kitchen and has them cook a ribeye and then brings it back to the contest down in the bus barn. He's like, now that's a ribeye. Y'all need to try that.
But it's a quality of meat.
Yeah.
It all goes back to
He's
quality.
like, that's a ribeye. And you'll have your own blend of seasonings, which I think is really cool that you guys y'all
we actually
curated a seasoning
we
blend.
make it.
and-
It doesn't come in a shaker. It doesn't come already pre-mixed or whatever.
No, it's a curated blend.
But I think people just
y'all should
don't.
sell it. We should. I don't know who
You
does
know,
that.
I've
Haven't
looked,
you looked
into that, but it's a little bit. I just can't decide to just. I've got so many other things that I have to worry about, and it's like, okay, am I really going to worry about selling the steak seasoning? But maybe
know.
someday. I don't know. just the whole thing of that is like on its own. You know,
Yeah.
you see all this other stuff out here with the signs and the, you know, visiting and the concerts and all the stuff, but you've still got to go back. We still have a full
A full
blown restaurant
restaurant
that goes
all the time.
you know.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that gets lost in all the other hoopla that's always
I know. I'm always
going
shocked. So
on.
many people that like come for a concert or something, and they're like, "Oh, is this? I didn't know you guys had a restaurant. Is this open all the time?"
Or y'all just
even
open
sometimes
tonight?
I'll run into people. I'll be out at an event or something, and we'll be talking about the restaurant, and they're like, "Wait, that restaurant's open all the time?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, Wednesday through Sunday, open. 5 days
Yeah.
a week." And they're like, "I thought y'all just opened it for
For the
concerts."
concert. Yeah.
was
I
like,
know it's crazy how many people still don't know about
Yeah.
it, but
Like, you think we built that whole menu just to open this big menu just for the concert? No.
yeah, it is crazy to think about it. And then, you know, just all the equipment that it takes. And, you know, I swear, poor CareTech, every time I call them, I think they're going to, oh my God, it's her again.
I know.
I'm not going to answer the phone.
They do a good job too, though.
They
come
do,
out.
but you know, it's the freezer is not this, or the, you know, one of the beer coolers isn't holding temp, or, you know,
Dude, every time we look up something's
Oh,
they're like,
yeah.
oh, and then I feel like they wait to tell us about it sometimes, and I'm just like, they're like, oh, did you know that this wasn't working? And I'm like, no, I didn't. I didn't know that. Or I'll go try to use something, and they'll be like, oh, that's broken. And I'm
I
like,
know.
You could
It's
have said, like, somebody could have said something. That's my new, I picked it up earlier this year where I just, if you see something, say something. That's what I've been telling all of the new hires, everybody that comes, like, that works for us at the concerts. I'm just like, our life motto, okay, guys? If you see something, say something. That's it. That's it.
they'll break the
'Cause I
last
can't-
coffee pot and not
Yeah,
tell
and
us.
not
And
tell.
I'm like,
Like, if you see something, say something, guys.
Yeah.
Olivia will tell me stuff sometimes, though, that I'm like, I didn't want to know that. And she's like, well, you said if you see something, say something.
I know some things I don't
Like,
want to
some
know.
things you could have kept to yourself. I've realized I did say that, but you could have kept that one to yourself.
Yeah, yeah. So it's always something. But I think food wise, I think we're really good.
Yeah.
Um,
Our also a random, super random thing about our food. Our ranch dressing is also like made fresh in house. And listen, after you've had our ranch dressing, it will spoil you about any other ranch dressing. Like if I go somewhere and their ranch dressing isn't homemade, I'm like, oh, I can't do it. I can't.
Well,
eat.
you know, and that goes back to, you know, we hand bread our chicken strips, our
Yep.
steak fingers, and we only do steak fingers one day a
On
week. That's only on
Thursdays.
Thursdays.
Yeah. But we
It's
do
just
chicken
because we
fry.
actually hand cut them.
Yeah, they hand
We
cut
hand cut them,
Yep. But
hand
they
bread
do. We do
them.
chicken fried steak. You can get the
Yes.
whole steak.
Yes, but we
which
just
is
don't do the
also
actual-
hand breaded and
Yes.
delicious. Our
But you know, so many
cheese
places
bites are
don't.
hand breaded.
Yeah, I know. And people are like, so, you know, we started out doing like the actual cheese sticks, the big
Yeah,
fat
the
ones.
big
but
ones.
then you watch the tables and they're all trying to cut them apart so everybody can have some.
I
said,
love-
why don't we just go ahead and cut them
Cut
off?
them.
And
I
let's just
love
put 'em
that
out.
we cube them. I think
Yeah,
that's the
but
best.
have you ever seen that
but
cheese? It's like this big,
I've
big a
nearly
block.
died on a cheese stick like that. I nearly
Did you
choked to
choke?
death. I nearly choked to death on a cheese stick like that one
Yeah.
time.
So, but you know, I mean, there's a lot of prep that goes into
Yeah.
a daily menu, just because, you know, everything is all the sauces, you know,
Yeah.
completely.
I think my grandma was asking me where we bought those from. She was like, "You think you could order me a case of those?" And I was like, "No, Grandma."
girl.
I was like, "They hand batter them." She was like, "Oh." I was like, "Just buy you a block of cheese and hand bread them." She goes, "I think I'll just come up there and let y'all do it
Yeah.
for me."
So, you know, there's a lot just on the restaurant side of it. I know I've been trying to get a menu out forever. I'm going to change a couple of things, not a lot, but a couple. But I'm going to go back to a regular size, a couple of pages, and
I know,
paint that
yeah.
big thing.
When we went to
Um,
Vegas, we found some cool,
Yeah,
some cool
a good
stuff.
printer.
So,
So,
hopefully, yeah.
but there's just always, you know, something, even if we're not busy concert wise,
Yeah.
you know.
This
there's
is a
ton-
full-time situation in and of itself. The restaurant is a
Yes.
full
Yes.
undertaking by
Yes.
itself. Yeah.
Well, you know, even just the bar part of it, you know, trying to figure out what to order and just the regular stock.
And liquor is
Yes.
so, like, it's very, like, tumultuous almost. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. Like, they discontinue like just when, I swear, just when you put something on a menu, they discontinue it. Like just like a liquor, they'll discontinue, or the price will just all of a sudden go up, or somebody brings something by and we really like it, but Specs doesn't carry it. And so getting it in is, getting it in here is a nightmare. And so, yeah, there's just so many moving parts to that.
Yeah.
Or where, oh, hey, this is really popular right now, so we'll order a bunch of it, and then sure enough, 2 weeks later, nobody's drinking that anymore, and it's now
Or
it's
they
sitting
drink it
there.
all and you can't reorder it.
Yeah, they
don't
drink.
carry
Oh
it
yeah,
anymore.
yep. Now they've
So
they've
there's just
discontinued
a
it or
lot
whatever.
of
Oh my gosh,
different,
it's insane.
there's always a food rep or a liquor rep coming in the door.
Yes.
Wanting your time, wanting you to sit down and look at this and taste this. Of course, I don't drink liquor at
Misty
all.
doesn't drink,
or
so
beer. So I've got to find Madison or, someone to taste it to
Yeah.
even see if it's good or if it tastes like gasoline or, what. And just
know.
have to go off what they say, and then just getting it all back into the system and into the POS and, where it goes as far as, they'll tell me all the time, go put this in. I'm like, okay, well, what is it?
What is it? I know. Or gosh,
Well, if
my
it
favorite
says
was
it.
the day that we were doing margaritas, and she said, "Now what's in a margarita?" And I was like, "Okay."
No.
I was like, "Okay." And she's like, "I don't know." That wasn't even like a hard drink. That's like a really easy. I thought everyone knew what it was, but yeah, she doesn't drink at all.
Well, if it says
Except,
it like TX whiskey, if it says it
Yeah,
whiskey, then I know,
yeah, you
okay,
know.
that goes in the whiskey category.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
if
yeah.
it's just a name, how am I supposed to
Yeah,
know?
how? Yeah,
I don't know what it is,
'Cause you
So
don't drink.
they'll have to write it all down so I can go
Yeah.
get it. I can get it in the POS. I just need to know where to put it.
what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
What it goes
And,
under.
people just don't get it, and every rep, well, why don't you carry this? Why don't you carry that? Well, if you don't really have anybody asking for it,
Yeah.
and I've got a lot of regulars. If they ask me for something, heck yeah, I'm going to bring it in for them.
We used to bring in that freaking tarantula tequila for that one guy. He would come in here all the
so
time
I
and drink
will-
it.
you
But
know,
he
we'll
quit
do
coming, so we
that.
quit. He quit
Yeah.
coming, so we quit ordering it. If somebody else.
Yeah, I think though every time you turn around, there's a new alcohol of some kind of something coming out.
Oh my gosh.
They play
and
off the
tequilas are really
graphics.
popular right now. Tequilas are really popular right now. So every time I look up, it's a new tequila, which is I don't drink a ton, but tequila is like my preference if I'm gonna drink. So they know that too, so they're like, oh yeah, we'll bring. And I'm just like, oh, God. And they'll be like, oh, Madison has to come try this, and I'm like, I don't like that. And most of them aren't good. So.
Sometimes the artist will get sponsored by a company,
Oh yeah, and they want you to
and
bring
so
one.
then they want to push that for them.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes they're really good. Sometimes it's like a really good, like well-known brand. Midland has, and I can't remember if it's like their tequila or if they were just sponsored by them, but I think it's like their tequila in Solito. We
Some have
carried
good
carried
ones.
that one was actually very, very good, and we carried that for a long time. They had a really good reposado, so we carried that. But
Yeah.
then some of them are just like, and some of it's just not like something that people drink a lot. You know what I mean? Like people here in this area don't drink a lot of rum, so rums don't really do well. But yeah, it just depends. People drink a lot of whiskey in our area though, so whiskeys I think are harder because of that. I think people are very like set in their ways.
Right,
Like your
they don't-
husband drinks. Your husband's like a whiskey. Mine is
They
too.
don't
But
want
like our
to try
husbands drink
something
whiskey.
different though. They want that
Yeah,
true brand that
they're
they've
like,
always
this is what
had.
and your husband's a lot like that. Kent's a lot like that.
Yeah,
He's just very like, this
so-
is what, he's very stuck to his like brand like that. He's,
Yeah, it's just crazy.
and
I
a lot of like farmers and ranchers, and they
Yeah.
are. So
I think
it's-
that's been one of the hardest things for me.
yeah,
Is the
knowing.
bar, just because and don't get me wrong, I used to drink when I was young a lot, but I haven't drank in many years. And so and I wasn't even a good drinker when I was young, it was,
Well, in this industry, you can't either. I mean, if
No,
you were, if you
um,
wanted to be bellied up to the bar all day, like this would be a real hard
I think
place.
it all
would make
tastes
it really
horrible.
hard to run.
I've never found anything that I just really
Just
crave
love.
or really like. If it's not sweet tea or Dr. Pepper, you can keep it. But that's been one of the hardest things I think for me
Yeah.
is understanding that end of it. You know, the kitchen's not bad. I can cook.
Yeah.
I can go in there and I can run any appliance in there. I can wash the dishes. I can run
Yeah.
the dishwasher. You know, I can step in. I can run the line. I can expo. I can do anything. And I have been behind the bar, you know, and I do really good if you want a beer. I can pour you a beer just great out of the draft. I can get you a bottle. But when you start asking for those drinks, I know what the Crown bottle looks like. I know what the Don Julio bottle looks like. But other than that, I'm reading the labels.
Right.
I'm trying to figure
What are
out
we
what you asked for
doing?
and where is it. And they're like, oh, it's that bottle down there.
Like,
I have
okay.
no clue.
I can fast bar, but then I always laugh about the time we had our Christmas party, and then one of our servers, we just got one bartender for the Christmas party, and we do the Christmas party for Rusty, for Trevor, for everybody. So it's a lot. And their
I
families,
think we had
and
two. I
it's a
think
lot
one
of
didn't
people.
show up or she was late.
Yeah, maybe. And but so I jumped behind the bar to help her, and she was one of our servers. She should have known I've never been back behind that dang bar. She said, could I get a blue Hawaiian? I said, babe, you can have a Malibu and pineapple juice, or you can wait. You can hold on a minute because I have no idea what that is. And she was like,
I
okay.
know. And every blue moon, some customer will ask for something that the girls don't know. And I mean, they'll look
They
it up.
look it up.
but
Everybody looks it up.
I think
Fun.
they just make up shit, to be
Yeah.
honest about it.
Sometimes-
I mean, the customer, you know, like
I'm
to
going to
find
tell you
something that's not here.
yeah, they try
You
to
know,
find
yeah,
something
they
that
try to
nobody's
find
ever heard
something
of.
that no one knows what it is, you
know.
know.
Yeah.
Or they
They're like,
make
"Oh."
something up, you know.
Yeah. Or lately, there's like drinks on TikTok are like if they go if
yeah.
a drink on TikTok goes viral, they'll come in
want
and
that.
ask for it. Dirty martinis were very viral on TikTok for a little while. So I went somewhere and ordered a dirty martini, and she asked me if I'd ever had, which I've drank them for a long, like I like a dirty martini.
I was going to say, were you just being that bougie
No,
bitch or
I
what?
wasn't. I like a dirty
Okay.
martini. I was bougie the other day. I went to Stella's and I ordered a Hillstone Crisp martini, and I did have to tell them what was in that. So I was that girl the other day. But I ordered a dirty martini, and she said, "Have you ever had one before?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, I have to check because lately we've been getting a lot of girls that are like freshly like
Oh,
21,
they want it and
22
don't like it.
and they order it, and it's an acquired taste for sure if you don't
Yeah.
and they'll send them back. I'm sure it's happened here before too, where somebody's ordered a dirty martini thinking that they wanted it and they did
They
not.
didn't.
They
Yeah.
didn't know.
So, like I say, there's a lot of things that go into just the everyday running of the restaurant. I did come hot the other day, and I might have thrown a little fit.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was sitting in the office, which, of course, y'all know my office is upstairs.
Yeah.
I'm on one side, and Madison's on the
That's
other.
not an invitation to come into our
and I
office. by
heard,
the way.
ticket! And I thought, damn, that was loud. So I look out my window, and I can see, I see no one in the lane right
Yeah.
there. I look over here, I see a girl on the phone. I look over there, I see a girl on the phone. I'm thinking, oh, hell no. So I come down those stairs. I get all the way in the kitchen, throw some gloves on. I pull the order.
Yeah.
And
I usually go back behind Misty because Misty goes direct to whatever she goes direct to fix it, and then I'm like going back behind everyone, like giving them a
the
warning,
expo
like, hey,
was
she's about to
somewhere
go
else.
off. So
The expo was somewhere else. Everybody else was on a phone, and it wasn't busy. I mean, it's like probably 3 o'clock,
No, no,
3:30
no.
in the afternoon. There might have been one or two tables. I mean, it wasn't busy, but I might have come unglued that day. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like I say, there's always some kind of trauma somewhere. Someone's mad they didn't get a shift, or someone got somebody else's shift, or they're not happy like what section they're in. For the most part, we have a great crew.
Yeah, we do.
But
We
you
have
do-
really good retention. I think we've had a
Yes,
lot of
we
girls
have a
that
lot
have
of
worked
servers that have been here
for
for
a long time.
And then we go through I say seasonal because
yeah,
with
'cause
college
it's-
being here,
school.
so we have some, and we're really good to work around their schedule. But
Yeah.
they'll work for a while. I know a lot of our girls that have worked here over the years have worked their way through college and gone on. There's several nurses.
Yep. It kind of flips. We'll have girls that go off to college, so they come home and work. They're like from Lubbock. They come home
Yes.
and work for the summer. And then we have some girls that they are from out of town, so they go home for the summer, but they work during the school year. So
Yeah.
that works out really well for us,
Yeah.
I think.
But I think you always just have that little bit of back and forth and here and there, when you put that many people on a work schedule and in a business anytime,
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. But they
It
get
is
out
what
of
it
here
is.
at a more reasonable time than a lot of places because we
Yeah.
have to close earlier than stuff
Yeah.
downtown. So, I mean, if you're closing a bar at 2 a.m., you're not getting out of there till 4 a.m.
Yeah, and a lot of people ask me why don't we stay open late, especially like concerts and stuff like that. We're actually in the county.
Yeah.
So
not
we are
allowed.
not offered a late
Yeah.
night permit. So with our liquor license and stuff like that, we're done at midnight.
I
now,
like it
for
that
the
way.
one, I like it that way too. My
Nothing
mom,
good
my dad
happens
always
after
said, "There's
midnight."
nothing good that
Nope,
happens after
that's
midnight."
what my grandma said.
But those downtown, if they're in the city limits, they can apply to have that late night permit, and they can stay open to the public and serve till 2.
Mm-hmm.
But we are not offered that being in the county, and honestly, I'm glad.
Yeah.
We're done by then, and almost everybody else is done by then, so they can go home. And even our hours, we say 11 a.m. to sometimes midnight.
Sometimes midnight. If
And
it's
everybody's like, "What does
dead
that
in here,
mean?"
Yeah.
I'll never forget. I had a table one time, table 11, and it was
Table 11.
it was maybe like 10:15 or so, and it was like during the week, and they were the last table. They had ate a long time ago. They were just visiting, drinking, and I just walked up to them and I said, "Hey guys, last call. We're done." And they were like, "Well, what do you mean? You're supposed to be open till midnight." And I said, "Nope."
Sometimes.
I said, "Sometimes midnight." He says, "It doesn't say that." And I took him over to the door and the sign. I
it
was like, "Yeah, it
does.
says sometimes midnight." And I said, "Today ain't sometimes." I said, "You can come back tomorrow."
See you tomorrow.
So he was like, "All right."
Yeah.
They weren't happy, but and it's hard being out here,
Yeah.
and then when it gets late, if it gets 9:00, 9:30, we don't have a table. I mean, we'll close up and go home.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things, and it's hard to say yes, it's midnight every night.
Well, yeah, I think just being out here, a lot of times, I mean, that they won't have a table, like nobody's gonna come. We're in a more like suburban area. A lot of
Yeah.
we're like kind of where on the access road where we are is like industrial, right? So there's really not a whole
Right.
lot. Like you have to drive to get to us, but if it is close to you, it's families. It's not it's not just, like down by Tech is obviously like a lot of younger people, a lot
Right.
of single people, like they'll go, they don't have kids, their kids they don't have to be up for work or a lot of them don't
I just know
have to,
I get asked that a lot about.
Yeah.
Why does it say sometimes midnight?
yeah.
I said, well,
That's why.
sometimes, and sometimes ain't today.
Yeah. That's funny.
So
What you said about nothing good happens after midnight. It reminds me, Rusty, one time, somebody was throwing a fit that we didn't have a pool table. And
Oh.
Rusty said, nothing good happens after midnight and nothing good happens around a pool table. And I'll never forget that. And I thought it was so funny. I was
Well,
like, yeah,
we are not laid out really
for a pool table
for a pool
anyway,
table,
but
it
I
would
think
be
they'd never been
hard.
here before, and it was like a concert or something. And I was
Yeah.
like, go watch the concert. But they were.
Honestly, I think Rusty might have saw a few fights a time or two around
the
when
pool
he was
table.
at school or college and, hanging out. I think that might have been the problem. And somebody asked us, are y'all going to get those? And we're like, no.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
Not happening. They're always wanting to do something. And I'm like, no. And honestly, that is one of the things I have not had to tell them no. I haven't had to tell Rusty and Trevor
I know,
no.
yeah, they normally.
Rusty was against it from the beginning too.
Yeah.
Because usually they come up with some harebrained shit, and I'm like, oh no, and then they're mad at me. But actually, Rusty was on board. He was the one that said no.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that.
He just wants crazy stuff like roller coasters or
Yeah,
whatever,
but
and you have to tell him
we
no.
just don't have the space or the layout. I guess we're just not conducive to how we would lay it out with the pool table.
Right.
So,
yeah. Other than like
and
on
I'm
the
okay with
patio
that.
or something,
Yeah.
and it would.
I
And
don't
then we
wanna
couldn't
get hit
seat
with
out
the-
there. A pool stick.
yeah, I don't.
You don't
want to
have to
in the
take
middle
a
of
pool
fight
stick
or
from
something.
somebody and
Yeah,
whoop 'em with it.
yeah, I don't want to have to whoop them with it. So I'm glad we don't have that. So anyway,
Yeah. Just.
yeah. So
What's
again,
going
y'all
on?
go buy your tickets.
Yeah.
Whoever you want to see, it's fixing to get crazy busy. All the kids are coming back. They're going to buy their tickets.
I know, yeah. They're already starting, and we've been postering down by the university and like putting stuff in their packets and stuff too. So they're moving in this week. They will be seeing those, and their parents are at the ready with their credit cards. So
Oh, yeah,
they
Grandma
will
was
start,
already out here earlier today,
They'll
so-
start selling out.
Yep, and I think there's a few VIPs left
Quick.
for a couple of the shows. Some of them may already be sold out. So if you think you might want to get a meet and greet or an early entry or something like that, go
Yeah,
grab them. Like I
grab
say,
those.
Hardy's up next, and Charles Wesley Godwin and
Dylan Gossett.
Gossett, and then we just keep rolling. So we're fixing to hit it hard and heavy. So grab your tickets, and we'll see you next time.